Angela from the website naturallivingalchemy.ca. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different plant communication techniques that honestly anybody can use. We're going to be doing one technique by connecting with a picture. We're going to do a technique by connecting with like a medicine. And we're going to do one technique by connecting with an actual plant. Okay? So before I begin, I've been actually trying to figure out how are we going to start talking about this? Because honestly, sometimes this can seem like a little bit of a out there thing that we can do. But I don't know if you realize this or not. You are constantly getting messages from the plant kingdom. Okay. If you're not choosing to listen to them, that doesn't mean you're not getting them. So I had pulled a couple cards off screen before I started, just trying to figure out, honestly, how I want to begin this video because it is a pretty large topic, but it is so simple that we just talk ourselves out of the ability to do it. So I know I don't use oracle cards a lot on this channel, but in this video, I have a couple, like I said, I pulled before. So I have 4 different cards that came out, and this message honestly came from the plant kingdom. That is who I asked, as I was asking, what do I need to talk? What do we need to know in this video? What words of advice do you have for me and those that are going to be watching this video in the future? We got the card of the seer, and then this is seeing beyond the current situation, which is exactly what we're going to be needing to do. Because honestly, you can just get your own head too much in the way in this, and then you're just pretty much ignoring all of the messages that you got because we are always in that direct communication. So the next card was the Shaolin Master, and this is about being graceful in movement and action. Think about this for a moment. When you first meet somebody, a new friend, right? What do? Do you run up to them? Tell me everything about yourself now. Like, okay, maybe, but how does that actually work? Okay. We need to start approaching nature with reverence. It is something you're going to keep hearing on this channel because it is something that honestly, in what I'm seeing, there's not enough of it. Okay. So our next 2 cards that we got was the Heart Guardian. And one of the techniques that I have for sharing with you with the sharing with the actual plant is a heart connection exercise. So I really liked this card. But then we got the card of the moon. What was our final message? And this was take note of intuitive messages. That is all this is. Okay. Now, it does not matter how connected to your own intuition you believe you are or you aren't. Okay. If you don't think you can do this, you're not going to be able to do this. But if you think, I wonder, just approach this with like a curiosity. Just, I wonder if I can get my own messages. Okay. And that's really all you need. That kind of attitude, just an attitude of just wonder and curiosity. So that is how we are going to approach our exercises today. So just going to move these out of my way. All right. So we are going to answer a couple of questions before. Sorry, I'm just looking over at my notes. So why is it important to get to know a plant personally? Like, why would we want to do this? We could just pick up a book. Why would we want to get our own messages? Well, you can really look at this a couple of different ways. But the first one is how much do you actually know about yourself? All right. Yeah, I know. This way. I'm going somewhere with this. Because you see, we can have all these books with all of this information about the different plants, but this is not everything. Okay. There is so much of that we do not know about the plants that we share this planet with. And one way to get to know it is through cultivating these personal experiences and these personal what's the word I'm looking for? Relationships. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. If you have never done this before, that's okay. We are going to start cultivating a relationship today, right now. If you already are proficient in plant communication, comment below and let me know what your technique is. What are some things that you've learned through your journeys with plants? Okay. Would love to know. So why wouldn't you just want to read about it in a book? Because there's so much to know. There's so much to know. And going back to you, do you volunteer all of the information about yourself when you first meet someone? Okay, probably not. Now you might share some stuff, right? Some personal details, of course. But do you let everybody know the most intimate details about who you are the first time they decide to look at you and talk to you? Probably not. And remember, plants are a reflection of us. We are made of the same elements. We are made of the same forces. Okay? We are one and the same. So, again, this goes back to the reverence, right? Okay. So, what is plant communication? It's exactly what it sounds like. It is just learning to communicate with plants. And remember, they don't speak our language. We need to actually learn theirs. Okay, that's not exactly true. Now, are you expecting a plant that you encounter in the forest to just start actually like, now it has a mouth, it's talking to you? Now, I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but maybe your psychic gifts don't work that way. So let's talk about the ways we receive our messages. Okay, because I mean, it's one thing for me to tell you you're probably already doing this, but I'm going to explain how. So now, for me, clairvoyance, like a seeing, is not my most dominant gift. Okay. My more dominant gift is I feel. I'm more of like a claircognizant person. Okay. So deeply empathic. I just feel everything. It all comes through in emotion. Okay. A lot of the communication that I was getting was coming through that way. Now, you just look at a plant, right? And sometimes it can definitely stir a bit of an emotion, right? That's a communication. Maybe you're looking at a plant and a specific song that maybe you haven't thought of in a long time comes to mind. That's communication. Maybe a memory was sparked. That's a communication. Okay. Or maybe you are just being able to start hearing like a clairaudience and hearing the messages that way. Um, I'm going to share a little bit of a story because that recently happened in a really, really big way. Okay. Now I did write about this on my Instagram. So if you read the post, please ignore it. If not, I do have an Instagram, Natural Living Alchemy, if you want to go follow me there. We are also on Facebook and attempting to figure out Pinterest. But anyway, okay. So it started in a dream, which is a lot of the times how we actually are in communication. Think about it. Have you had a dream where there's a certain tree? Maybe that tree talked to you. The essence of that tree was in your dream communicating with you. Isn't that cool? Okay. Anyway, so I had had a dream about, well, what I thought was mullein like a little while ago. And like, okay. So I was kind of learning some different things about mullein and some experiences with her. And then I had another dream. And this time were so obvious. It was like a whiteboard with the word agrimony written across it. Okay, well, message received that time, right? So anyway, now while that was going on, one of the YouTube channels that I like watching, Evolutionary Herbalism, the School of Evolutionary Herbalism, um, and on my YouTube feed, a video came up, and it was agrimony, and it kind of sparked my interest. But then I distracted myself by doing something else because I'm human, and that's what I do. So anyway, after I woke up from the dream with just the simple word, I found the video that I was looking for, and realized that what I thought was mullein was actually agrimony. All right. So it is always important to actually, when you're encountering plants in, especially in the dream world, you can ask them their name. Okay. You just do that. Hello, my name is Angela. Who are you? Something as simple as that. Anyway, so I was watching this video, and I am trying to address some things with some gut issues and just trying to get my gut health in a bit of a better condition than it currently is. And that's one of the things that this video was talking about that agrimony can do. And I mean, we could see that because of the yellow flowers. The yellow would be like a digestive kind of, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? So yeah, so the yellow would kind of correspond with like digestion, with bile is what I kind of think about. So I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. That's something I'll definitely add. But as the video was going deeper, and he was standing in his garden, and it had like these beautiful tall agrimony plants behind him, and they were talking about flower essences. So that's what this little thing is. So basically, they were talking about agrimony flower essence as being something that is good for people who are essentially masking who they actually are. Now, I am autistic. It feels very weird saying that on a public platform, but that's fine. It is what it is. Okay. And not only am I on the autism spectrum, I am a very heavily masked autistic individual. So, what I have been working on is starting to release some of those masks. I shit you not, excuse my language. Through the television, I heard her talk to me and say, I can help you show you who you actually are. I can help you take your masks off. So I went out, bought the flower essence, and let me tell you, the first time I took it, I felt a difference. Okay. So I will talk more about flower essences in a future video. I don't want to make it about that, but they do work more on the emotional levels of the human. But anyway, so yeah, if I wouldn't have been watching that video, and if I wouldn't have been actually willing to listen that that plant was trying to talk to me through the TV, I wouldn't actually be where I am. I wouldn't have been accomplishing the growth that I've actually accomplished in being more authentic to who I am. So that was one of my experiences with a plant communication that honestly just happened. It just happened. So I would like to ask you now, how often do you think something like that has already happened? Okay. Because I bet you can find at least once. And if it's not anything in like maybe your more recent uh time, right? Think back to when you were a kid. Okay. And a lot of us were drawn towards nature, towards plants, towards the trees, right? To me, they're the only things that actually made sense because even as a child, humans are very confusing, but plants are pretty straightforward. So, how do you get your information? That's one thing that you're going to have to just consider and just maybe put some thought into if you don't already know. All right. Like I said, this isn't something that you need some special gifts to be able to do. The words I want to use is this is your birthright. Okay. This is your birthright to be able to communicate with the world around you, not just with the other humans, not just with maybe your dog or your cat or your horse or your fish or birds or whoever you talk to, your lizard. Okay. Everything, everything is part of you and you are part of everything. Okay. And the biggest thing is you just need to believe that you can do this because I believe that you can do this. And the plants believe that you can do this. And quite frankly, they are wanting to talk to us. Okay. They want to engage in more of this personal relationship. Not where we just go to a plant and say, how can you serve me? What can you do for me? No. How are you? What messages can we share with each other today? Because here's the thing, two-way street. What if these messages that we're getting from the plants, okay, teach us about them? The communications that we have with the plants are actually teaching the plants about us, okay? Because it is a two-way street. So, enough about that. Let us start with our first technique. Now, if there are any questions that I did not address, put them in the comment section below, and I will answer them for you to the best of my ability. Also, check out that description box below, and there is a full written blog article that is going to have these steps written out for you in case maybe I'm explaining them too fast, or maybe you're like me and just like to see kind of the big picture of something before you start or before you do it. So I like a list, maybe you like a list. But anyway, let's begin. So the first technique that I'm going to be sharing with you is connecting with a picture. Now, my printer is out of ink, so I could not go and print a really big picture of something, but I have one of my handy plant books. This one I like just because it's nice colored pictures. But anyway, so what we're going to do is you just let us I'm just flipping through this book, honestly, to see which is kind of getting my attention. What kind of so I'll kind of feel it in my heart, but then I also kind of feel it in like my solar plexus area, like the gut. Okay. Because one thing that the plants have taught me is it is important to listen to your mind, to your heart, and to your gut and intuition equally. We're not going to put one above the other because they actually all work in conjunction with each other. So, just flipping through, I found it's this under evening primrose. It's just this. Let me see if you can see it. Fireweed picture. So, you just want to look at it. I like to take just a couple breaths just to help calm and center myself. And immediately, what I want to do is I want to just start to kind of sit up straighter. Okay. But if you look, that's kind of what our plant in our picture is doing. So, and then sometimes, like right now, I kind of am starting to feel a little bit of a fullness just in my ears. Just be who you are. That's what I'm getting. Be who you are. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. People can't even agree on the names of the plants. So don't let them tell you who you are. You know who you are. Just be it. And that's it. Now, granted, just like the dream, I could say everything that I just felt like saying. Well, that was me. It was just my imagination. Okay, maybe. Or we can trust that this is actually what this plant wanted us to know. Because, and another thing, and again, this maybe is just, you can train yourself to be in tune to these things and to notice it. But even as the words were coming through, I was feeling a lot of energy kind of like up and down my spine through my center. So, yeah. Anyway, that is all you have to do to connect with through a picture. Okay. So I would love for you to practice these techniques and comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite? which one worked really well, and then which ones were needing a bit more practice and refinement. All right. So, our next one, I have a cup of tea here. It's a nettle tea. Now, you could use a tea, you could use something like a tincture and just take that. You could, your flower essence, just take that. But I'm just going to use a tea because I wanted to. So, as I was going through my cupboard, figuring out honestly, I was asking which tea should I take? Okay. And all of a sudden, my eye was drawn to my container that had nettles in it, and it said, "Let me nourish you." So that is exactly what we are going to do. So if you're going to be connecting to a plant, this is a second technique through a medicine. I'm going to use tea. You can use whatever you want, even if you just took apart. Just a second. Let's just grab this calendula here that wants, I don't know, wanted to go grab. So you could also honestly just take this and just eat, just ingest it. Okay. You can also get your messages that way. But anyway, so all you're going to do, same thing, kind of drop into your heart. What does it mean to drop into your heart? To me, what that means is instead of my consciousness honestly being up here, I am putting it here. Okay. It's just, I am with the intention of going through my heart. All right. So just kind of drop into your heart space, your heart center. Maybe if you have it, you can just kind of smell it and then you just want to drink it or ingest it or eat it, however way you're going to do it. And we're going to just see what comes through. So, tastes really good. For when times that you are not certain, just believe that you are. Times when you don't know what the next right step is, just pick something and do it. You will never be led astray. Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice message, isn't it? Okay. So, but that's it. That's as simple as it is to just connect with something that isn't even in your space, right? Now, I am going to share next a technique on with an actual plant. So give me a moment and we are going to go set up in the living room.
Okay, so for our final technique, I've brought you to one of my favorite plants in the house, and her name is Elvira. This is my peace lily. So, what you would want to do if you were going to connect with a plant. So, all right. So, you just want to sit with it. And again, we're going to drop down into our heart space to do this. And I would like for you to start imagining your heart space starting, ask permission first. So you want to get your heart space to start merging with the plant. Okay? So all you're going to do is it's just you ask, and then I kind of feel like a yes confirmation. So I'm just going to send from my heart out and just kind of enveloping the plant. And we're just going to sit here and breathe together for a moment. But as you're breathing, your inhale is the plant's exhale, and your exhale is the plant's inhale. And just do a couple breaths like this here. And then just see what insight that you're beginning to get. So right now, I'm not getting words, but I'm feeling a lot of love is the word that I'm getting. So it's almost feeling as if you're being held. You are safe. You are enough. And then that's it. Um, I do like to thank the plant, the medicine, whatever it is that I have been communicating with when I'm done. I also like to give my plants offerings. Now, for the ones in the house, I've been giving them whey, actually, from in for that I just mix in with their water. It's whey that I've dripped from yogurt I've made. Um, and oh my gosh, she's greener than what she used to be, which was cool ever since I did that. Um, Another thing that I've done is I've actually, for plant communication, I've asked my plants where they want to be located in the house. And once I just kind of intuitively felt like I have a Croton plant and she wasn't really doing that great. And I'm like, okay, well, where would you like to be in the house? And her response was up in my room, just in like kind of just like a darker corner. But I'm like, okay, who am I to argue? And she actually started flowering, and that plant has never done that since I've had her. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, those are just some different ways that we can start to communicate with the world around us, how we can start connecting to, even if it's just the house plants in your home. Maybe you want to go outside, and it's too cold here in my mind, but go outside and do this with a tree. You can actually, I've done it with the trees in my front yard just through the window. Like, you don't have to be like touching to be able to do it in one-on-one like this. So with that being said, I believe that feels fairly complete for the techniques that we wanted to share with you today. Um, if you wouldn't mind going and liking this video, it would mean a lot. And share it with anybody who you feel might like to learn how to communicate with plants. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel so that we can spend more time together and you don't miss some of the other things that we want to bring. Starting next week, I have a calendula healing salve recipe and tutorial that I would like to share with you, so you don't want to miss that. Otherwise, I really would like you to thank you for spending this time with me. And until next time, may you find peace wherever you are.